You've probably heard it your whole life. Just be nice. Sounds harmless, right? But here's the ugly truth about being too nice. Sometimes it ruins you more than it helps you. People who constantly put others first often end up last, drained of energy, battling mental exhaustion, and asking themselves, why am I always tired? It's not kindness that's the problem. It's the lack of boundaries that comes with it. And that's where the hidden danger lies. Think about it. Always saying yes to everyone at work, jumping in to solve problems that aren't yours, or tolerating a toxic work culture just to avoid conflict. Sure, on the outside you look like the dependable go-to person, but inside you feel drained, running on empty. That emotional fatigue, that creeping burnout, those moments when you stare at the ceiling after work thinking, why do I feel so exhausted when I didn't even do that much? That's the cost of people-pleasing. But here's the kicker. You don't have to keep paying that price. There's a way to stop being too nice without becoming cold or selfish. A way to develop self-respect, set healthy boundaries, and start saying no with confidence. In this video, we're going to break free from burnout, uncover why being nice isn't always noble, and learn how to protect your energy, your mental health, and your self-worth. So, if you've been tired after work, if you've been caught in the trap of overthinking and exhaustion, stick around. This might just be the mindset shift you've been waiting for. The hidden costs of always being too nice. When someone is caught in the cycle of always being too nice, they don't usually realize the silent tax it's placing on their life. At first, it feels rewarding. People like them, they avoid conflict, and they're seen as dependable. But little by little, that constant people-pleasing leads to emotional exhaustion. It's like carrying an invisible backpack filled with everyone else's problems while ignoring your own. And the truth is, that weight shows up as mental exhaustion, burnout symptoms, and even a nagging voice that whispers, why am I always tired? Imagine a colleague who says yes to every project. At first, they're praised as a team player, but soon, they're buried under workplace stress, drained after work, and quietly resentful. That's what happens when boundaries are missing. They confuse kindness with compliance, and the result is a life that feels overrun by everyone else's demands. The lack of boundaries doesn't just cost energy, it chips away at self-worth. And when self-worth erodes, so does the confidence to say no. This is where the cycle deepens. The more someone gives in, the more others expect. It's not because people are inherently cruel, it's because unspoken rules form around how we allow ourselves to be treated. If you're always available, people assume you'll always be available. If you never push back, people believe you're okay with being overloaded. And before long, you're left wondering why you feel drained while everyone else seems fine. The key isn't to stop caring, it's to learn how to protect your energy. And that's where things get interesting. Why being too nice leads to burnout. Burnout doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in slowly, disguised as just being helpful. When someone is stuck in people-pleasing mode, they often mistake overcommitment for generosity. But here's the hard truth. Saying yes all the time is one of the fastest ways to hit emotional fatigue. Picture this. Someone agrees to cover a coworker's shift, help a friend move, stay late at work, and still smile through it all. On the outside, they look fine. On the inside, their mental health is fraying. That's the quiet path toward burnout symptoms that so many miss until it's too late. The problem is that the body and mind don't lie. When you're living on autopilot, ignoring your own needs to keep others happy, you'll notice signs: constant tiredness, overthinking and exhaustion, trouble sleeping, irritability, or even physical aches. This isn't weakness, it's the natural response to pushing past your own limits. It's like running a marathon every day without training. Eventually, your system collapses. And if left unchecked, that toxic work culture or constant need to please doesn't just exhaust you, it rewires your mindset to accept exhaustion as normal. Now here's where it gets tricky. Many people in this situation try to self-medicate with caffeine, endless scrolling, or telling themselves they'll rest later. But later never comes. The truth is, to break free from burnout, one must face the uncomfortable fact that being too nice is part of the problem. That doesn't mean becoming rude or selfish. It means reclaiming balance. And the first step to that balance is spotting the warning signs early, before the cycle pulls you deeper. But spotting is only half the battle. Learning how to act on it is where the real transformation begins. The power of boundaries. Here's something most people never realize. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're gates that protect what matters most: your energy, your time, and your self-worth. Without them, being too nice becomes a fast track to mental exhaustion. Think about it. Every time someone asks for a favor and you say yes, even when you don't want to, you're training your brain to ignore your own needs. Over time, this creates a dangerous habit of self-abandonment, which is why so many wonder, why do I feel drained even when I didn't do that much? Setting boundaries doesn't mean turning into a cold-hearted person. It means learning to say no with confidence and saying yes only when it aligns with your values. For example, instead of automatically agreeing to cover that extra project at work, you could respond, "I'd love to help, but my plate is full right now. Can we revisit this later?" That's not rudeness. That's self-respect. And the more you practice this, the stronger your self-worth mindset becomes. In fact, psychologists say that people with clear boundaries experience less workplace stress and recover faster from emotional exhaustion. But here's the catch. Boundaries will be tested. Friends might push, coworkers might guilt trip, and family may not understand at first. And that's okay. Boundaries aren't about controlling others. They're about teaching them how to treat you. The more consistent you are, the quicker people adapt. And once you feel the freedom that comes from honoring your limits, you'll realize just how powerful this shift can be. Still, there's one piece missing. It's not enough to set boundaries. You also need the courage to prioritize yourself daily, even when it feels uncomfortable. Prioritizing yourself without guilt. One of the biggest struggles for people who fall into the trap of being too nice is the guilt that comes with putting themselves first. They've been conditioned to believe that self-care is selfish, when in reality it's the opposite. Think of it like this. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly drained, tired after work, and running on emotional fumes, how can you really show up for anyone else? Prioritizing yourself isn't about ignoring others. It's about making sure you have the strength to give without collapsing. Take a simple example. Instead of saying yes to every weekend plan, block out a Saturday just for you. Read a book on personal development, go for a long walk, or even just unplug and rest. That's not laziness. It's strategy. The same goes for work. Instead of volunteering for every task, try delegating or setting clear limits. Small shifts like these build a self-respect mindset, teaching your brain that your needs matter too. And here's the kicker. When you protect your energy, people actually start respecting you more, not less. But here's where most people trip up. The guilt monster creeps in. They start overthinking. Am I being selfish? What if they think I don't care? This is where a mindset shift is crucial. Ask yourself, if someone truly values me, will they disappear just because I set a boundary? Chances are the answer is no. True relationships thrive on respect, not sacrifice. And when you break free from that guilt loop, you'll see how freeing it feels to choose yourself without apology. Still, self-prioritization works best when paired with something else. Learning how to communicate boundaries clearly, which is where the next step comes in. Saying no with confidence. At the heart of breaking free from burnout lies one deceptively simple skill: saying no. For someone who's spent years being too nice, those two letters can feel heavier than lifting a mountain. But here's the truth. Every confident no is actually a yes to something far more important: your peace of mind. Without this skill, people stay stuck in cycles of overthinking and exhaustion, constantly wondering why they feel so drained while their lives revolve around everyone else's needs. The trick is to reframe what no means. It's not rejection, it's redirection. Imagine your coworker drops a last-minute project on your desk. Instead of defaulting to, "Sure, I'll handle it," you can respond, "I understand this is urgent, but I can't commit to it right now without sacrificing quality. Let's find another solution." That's not rude, it's professional. Or with friends, try, "I'd love to catch up, but I need a night to recharge. Let's pick another day." These are small examples of self-help motivation in action, where a boundary becomes an act of self-respect. Here's the empowering part. The more often you say no, the more natural it feels. It's like building a muscle. And with every repetition, your self-worth and boundaries grow stronger. Over time, people stop expecting endless favors and they start respecting your limits. That's when you experience the raw self-help moment of clarity. Protecting your energy doesn't push people away, it draws the right people closer. And when this skill clicks, life shifts dramatically, but only if you're brave enough to practice it. So now you know, the ugly truth about being too nice is that it's not really kindness at all when it costs you your health, your energy, and your peace of mind. The constant people-pleasing, the lack of boundaries, the emotional exhaustion, those aren't badges of honor, they're warning signs. And the real act of self-respect is learning to protect your time, your energy, and your mental health. But here's the big question. Are you ready to stop being too nice? Are you ready to practice saying no with confidence, to set boundaries without apology, and to finally prioritize yourself without guilt? Because if you are, this isn't just about avoiding burnout. It's about creating a life built on self-worth and freedom. It's about breaking free from toxic work culture, from overthinking and exhaustion, and from the trap of always putting yourself last. So I'll leave you with this. What's one situation in your life right now where you need to draw the line? What's one area where saying no could give you back your energy and self-respect? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear from you. And if this video sparked something inside you, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because we've got more raw self-help, mindset shifts, and mental health tips coming your way. Trust me, this is just the beginning of your personal development journey.